Welcome to Coach's Corner. Welcome to Coach's Corner.
It's good.
Here we are again on our 20th season. I'm Nick Todisco, and I'm joined by Colorado's Billy Orfalea, Bobby Bigda, and the coach of the Shrewsbury Colonials, John Aloisi. John, congratulations on a fine victory last, was it Saturday or Friday? I can't remember now. Friday night, so they switched it. You guys switching around the schedule so much this year. It's like it's either the time changes or the day changes, or it's just it's been wacko. So good win against Leominster last week. We had some surprises, and the Colonials stepped up to it and played Leominster really well. Yeah. They really did. We were just talking before the show started and kind of pointing out some of the highlights that we picked out. It's always the prime guys, the quarterback, the receivers, and the running backs that get a lot of the credit. But I'll tell you, your offensive line has been playing really well this year, and the defensive line as well. Those guys need a lot of credit.
Yeah, 268 yards rushing.
Really?
The other night, yeah.
Wow.
And if you look at our statistics, I think we've been over 200 every game. I
Really?
believe.
Tucker
Grafton might have been
Montague with those golden
60.
spikes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You got. The line's doing great. Coach Pinto gets them ready every week. We've got Cashman, Montague, Johnny White.
Yeah, you got a plethora of backs there too.
Schaefer.
Yeah, Cam had a good
TJ
night.
Morgero when he gets in there.
Yeah.
You guys saw Timmy Ruffolo
Yeah,
the week before. So we're pretty deep at the running back position, but running backs can't make yards without the line.
That's absolutely
So
true.
the
It
line
all starts there.
The line pays a lot of attention to detail every week, and we're going to need to do this Saturday as well. But they're definitely getting better every week.
Yeah.
Thought he should have done.
Yeah, we were talking real quickly. Tonight's special guest tonight on the show is Nick Mercuri and help me here.
Phil Smyrnios.
Phil Smyrnios, thank you. Sorry,
And
Phil.
I think there's another one.
And we were talking a little bit with Nick, and I was telling him how well the line is done this year. And you guys pay a lot of attention to, like you said, the little things that make a difference. It's all about technique and skill. But your quarterback stepped up too this week. Drew had a good first half, and Mills came in and did a great job. Yeah. He really cleaned it up for him. Did a great job.
He did. He was ready, and I mentioned to you before the show, his poise was impressive. He came right in there and, maybe throwing the halfback option pass before that got some of the nerves out. But he prepares so well every week, and he plays our wing. He gets reps at quarterback. He plays safety. So he's a real smart player and works hard. So I wasn't really surprised. I was proud of him, but I wasn't too surprised his performance. He's a good player.
Yeah, no. He made a lot of nice plays out there. Ran the ball fairly well. Yeah. When he got the called his own number to run, or somebody called his number, anyways. And and Phil, some nice catches. Yeah. A wide receiver.
I think we were 8 for 8 throwing the ball.
Well,
that's outstanding.
Yeah, and 268 yards rushing. I did lose a couple hours sleep over the number of penalties, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
a couple personal fouls.
Yeah, that personal foul. We've been bitten by that a couple of times this year.
Yeah, we've got it. We talked about it today at practice. We have to stop.
Yeah.
Just has to stop if we.
I wasn't too upset.
If we want to take the, it's not just the personal fouls. It's the pass interference and holding and you name it, blocking the back on a big punt return. We had a big 4th and 8 stop. We had one of those personal fouls. When that stuff happens, I look at myself in the mirror and say I got to obviously do something different with the discipline. So, hopefully we'll address that going forward. But we need to play a lot smarter. Physically, we played excellent the other night. The physical effort was phenomenal, but the mental piece was not great.
Yeah, special teams too. Not give them a nod. They did well as well. They're limiting the amount of yardage on the kickoffs and punt returns.
Did we punt? I don't even remember.
No, I don't think we punted.
No, I don't think we punted at
I think
all.
we've punted
Plenty of
we've punted the last
kickoffs.
2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of kickoffs.
Yeah.
McAdams was out there every other.
Right.
Yeah, and the PAT's been 12 for the last 2
Yeah,
games.
it'd be great. Also,
Yeah.
it takes a little while for them to get through. We go, it's good.
But it really was a complete game, wasn't it? I mean, I
It
thought
was all around. I thought,
Out
like you
of,
said,
out of the first 6 possessions, you scored 5 touchdowns and you had 1
The
fumble.
fumble, which again, I mean, one fumble's too many for me.
Yeah,
You
well,
can't fumble the football.
Johnny had the ball out here, and he was leading, and it just, I don't know.
it seemed to me like
No,
he
he reached out and
bobbled
he
it
just
when he
grabbed
got
the
the handoff
Oh,
a
did he?
little bit, and he didn't have it fully protected.
Right, he
when-
didn't. It
when
was,
he got
it was,
yeah.
they got it when it was
The
out here.
defender reached out, he just
Yeah.
grabbed
Yeah.
the ball.
Well, that's we're up 14-6 with the ball, and then fumbled in our own territory. That made it. That's as close as they got.
Right.
Yeah,
That
14-12.
turnover gave them the swing. So,
True.
and if again we get the sandwich possessions around the half, it goes from 14-12 till we get to 28-12 right before the half. We went from 21-12 to 35-12. We had 2
Yes.
consecutive possessions, so that was
Yeah.
key, which put the game out of reach.
Put it
Being able to defer.
Yeah.
And we essentially got the first possession because of that quick fumble. Where Cam Schaefer, pushed the
Oh,
quarterback
right, yeah,
down.
yeah, it
It
was a great play.
Great play by
Great
him.
play.
Yep.
I snapped it over his head.
Very heady.
Yeah, it was. It was like a drill in
Yeah,
practice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it was nice to see the trick play early, come up in the game, and I love that, the pitch and
The option
and
pass,
the
yeah.
option pass. That was pretty, I love that.
They were
play.
really aggressive on the edges, so we felt like we could get.
Yeah, you did too.
We did, yeah. They came
Yeah.
right up. Well, they're in man cover, and if in man cover, if you bite at all, if the corners bite on that run,
Yeah.
I mean, he's wide open.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
wide
There's no
open.
There
safeties.
was nobody there.
I was a little surprised. I haven't seen Leominster play smash mouth in a long time. And it seemed like they had quite a few runs between the tackles.
Yeah, but they were. I mean, I think they're I formation this year, trying to feed number 21.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback's young. As you guys said, receivers wise, I don't know if they're very deep. So
Yeah, they had a couple of
and
touchdown
they-
catches, right?
right. Those play actions killed us.
Yeah, hats off to Leominster. I thought they played us tough. I thought that their running backs, Marchand and Couch, were very good at running back. One was a bruiser, one was a
More
a little
finesse,
bit, a little bit darty. And then they had that one receiver that
Yeah.
did a good job.
I think the toughest part of their schedules, but they have Doherty this week. But I really respect the schedule that they play because Westfield, they go out west,
Yeah,
play one of
right.
the best teams out west.
Do they play any Eastern Mass teams anymore?
They played Everett last year.
Yeah, I know they played Brockton for a number of years. I remember them playing them.
Yes, so I mean, I really respect. They play the best. They don't shy.
Yeah.
They don't back down. And then Marlborough, they had to go out of division for Marlborough. It was probably the best team with Neshoba, the
Right.
division down from
Right.
us. Though both those teams could play in our division.
So they obviously they're still going to play Fitchburg on Thanksgiving, I would think.
Leominster.
Oh, they,
Leominster plays
plays
Fitchburg. Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
But you got a big one coming up.
Mm.
At St. John's at 4:00 down at Deerfield, and different type team, a little bit more speed in their backfield than I think we've seen, except for Grafton had, other than
Yeah,
the
they were quick.
30, they were quick, but I don't think
Not as quick as was it
when
Eamon?
we're going to
Eamon
face
Dennis?
with Emmons.
Even Dennis, yeah, he's
Yeah.
Division
Dennis.
Division One football player.
Yeah.
He's
He's
outstanding.
quick.
He's very fast.
I know he had he's had 2 or 3 touchdown returns, kickoff returns already this year. I know we kicked to him last year once, and he returned it.
A big return.
Yeah,
And Jay Brunel's there.
Yeah,
Got 7
very good,
touchdowns.
yeah.
7 touchdowns in 4 games.
he had 180 yards last week. I
He
think.
just got a scholarship offer from Holy Cross.
Oh, he did. Nice.
You know, and those 2 kids, well, they get Shea Gallo, who's a Shrewsbury kid, as a third receiver. Those 3 kids are very good. Quarterbacks
Schofield.
coming out of the gates real strong as a junior. In his first year starting, their line's big. They're fast. They're
Yeah,
they're
they
very
reload.
they're a very good team.
They reload.
We don't put pressure on their quarterback, we will have a little trouble. That's just MO
Well,
against
if you put pressure, you play man cover with no safety.
Yeah,
so
right.
you're
Right. It seems to me though
It's gotta be a balance.
They've given up a lot though, a lot of points. I
They
know
have.
Springfield had 50 something of them, and
again. I think they're
I
2
mean,
and
you
2.
could-
Catholic Memorial is the 3rd-ranked team in the state who took Zavarian to
Yeah.
overtime this past week, and Springfield Central is the best team in the West. So you can say 2 and 2
Yeah.
versus 4 and 0, but
Yeah.
those 2 losses are to
Yeah.
outstanding teams.
Yeah.
so would they beat Wachusett in a close game
Right,
last
they came
week,
from behind. Yep.
and Leominster the prior week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're the reigning Division III champions, state
Yeah.
champions, and
yeah. And Coach Aloisi, Andreoli's
Andreoli.
going to have them prepared.
absolutely.
He'll
Yeah.
have them prepared
Yeah.
and ready to go because he always does. He's a good coach.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
Hey, what do you get, his 300 something? No. One,
Yeah, I
I'm not
thought
sure.
so.
No, he got his 130th game.
broke the St. John's record.
All-time winningest coach.
Well, yeah, he
Tony-
yeah,
overtook
Tony Wood.
Tony Wood.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, their assistant coaches are great too. I mean, they have Chris Moriarty runs the offense, and it's a machine. So,
Yeah.
and they got a bunch of other guys on their staff who.
Well, plus we get to go over there and play on their new field.
Right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
a prelude to us going on ours.
Right.
Now, did they
You know?
change the time for a reason? Was it SATs or something?
Yeah, I think
Is that
so.
what
Just
it
get a little bit of distance from the SATs.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about it getting dark, because now they have lights over there too.
But I'm not exactly sure why they changed it. I just was notified, and
Yeah, right. Yeah.
we'll be there.
Be prepared.
All right.
Yeah, it's always gonna, you can always say that it's gonna be a good game between Shrewsbury and St. John's, because we always tend to rise to the occasion to give them a good game,
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's been that way for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
It could be a close game, or it could be a 55-54 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, God, that was
We
a
had those.
shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had those.
We had that. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like card show.
You were coaching that year, weren't you?
No, that was 2012. I coached in 2011.
Oh,
I went
okay.
back to finish up my master's degree that year, but I was at that game. That was a great game.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Kickoff returns and everything. Yeah.
Well, surely, if it's nice weather on Saturday, we're surely gonna have a nice crowd.
Yeah, 64 and sunny right now is a forecast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yesterday was supposed to be 64 and sunny. It was 43 and
Cloudy.
Yeah.
cloudy
Yeah,
all
right.
day.
So, are we healthy, or pretty
Yeah,
much?
Yeah, for the most part, we got a couple of nicks and
Yeah.
a little bruised up, but so is everybody week 5.
Yeah.
So we'll
Did you get outside today and practice?
we didn't. We actually the JVs had a game yesterday.
How'd they do?
They won, so we're 11-0 right now.
So you
Oh,
saw
program.
film today then?
We saw film today. We went on the board. We did our installs today for just our game plan on the board and stuff, and then we'll be out. We really get a +1 day this week because of Saturday.
Oh,
Because
that's right.
Saturday
So
game.
that was today. We had film and on the board
A little longer than normal?
today.
Yeah.
Well, we typically don't have that. We're usually outside practicing on Tuesday to get ready for the Friday, but we'll treat tomorrow like a Tuesday, Thursday like a Wednesday, etc.
Can you give us an update on the field? Is the track?
I honestly do not know.
You don't.
Do you know?
I don't know.
I
don't
just
know either.
I just know
They
for the
keep
most part
postponing
that
games.
we'll be home on the 12th.
On the 12th.
That's what I know.
For sure.
Is it 99%
No,
or is it 100%?
Nothing's
For
100%.
sure.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
They're out there working, but we're washed up today.
All right, we hear the music, so 25 or 6 to 4. We'll be right back after the break.
No.
Waiting for the break of day, searching for something to say, flashing lights against the sky, giving up, I close my eyes, sitting cross-legged on the floor. 25 or 6 to 4. Staring blindly into space, getting up to splash my face, wanting just to stay away, wondering how much I can take. Should I try to do some more?
Really? We miss having you kicking. We do.
I liked it.
Eddie's the same though.
It was good, especially
accurate,
young.
yeah.
Like it got me part of the team.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, I wasn't like playing on the field, but I was kicking, so it kind of got me, to be part of the
Right,
experience.
right.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
So we're back for our second half. We got our student athletes on, leading with number 81, Phil Smyrnios. Number 64, Nick Mercuri. And number 5, Ben Harris. Welcome, guys. It's good to have you guys here on the show tonight. And we got a little bit of everything, you guys, what positions you play. You know, we were talking before we came back from the break with Phil a little bit, asking him whether or not he missed kicking a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know that the broadcast crew misses having you. I mean, it's nice to have the McAdam out there, but it's like when Phil kicked, it was just a little bit longer.
I have to say though.
But what was your record? What were you like? 15 for 15 or 30 for
I don't
30?
know exactly.
I was gonna say
yeah.
the last two. Did you kick 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I started sophomore
last year.
Sophomore and junior
I have to
year,
say, in those 3 years, we've kicked
You
more
missed
extra
one.
points than I remember.
You had one
for
block.
the
yeah.
previous
Something
10,
like that, yeah.
at least the previous 10 years. We never.
Wow.
Tommy Crossman.
Yeah.
Who else did we have? With the bony time, but he was the kickoff and
He was a field goal
yeah, he was
specialist.
a field goal specialist. And yeah, but I don't remember ever. You know, we were always going for 2 most of the time. Yeah, so you guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys been solid.
We
You
put
guys
an
been
emphasis
great.
on it.
I
Especially
don't
special
see us.
teams, so, yeah.
We've only missed a few in the past 2 or 3 years. So,
Right.
Yeah.
We put a big emphasis on it. You
Yeah.
know, special teams in general,
Yeah,
because it's
that's
just
great.
such a big part of the game.
It is.
It is a big
Well,
part
you
of
know,
the
you,
game.
you made it. Eddie makes a couple, and Leominster scores, and they got to go for 2, and they don't make it. And I was, you know,
2-score game.
Yeah.
It's 21-12.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was a huge
Huge.
block. Yep.
huge.
So obviously you enjoy playing wide receiver
Yeah.
more than kicking, and
Yeah.
you've made your mark. You've had a couple of nice
Trying.
games, couple of nice catches,
That's good.
touchdowns. You know,
Yeah, thanks.
you enjoy that. Don't you want to spike it though? Don't you when you catch the ball in the end zone? Don't you
I
just
get a
want
little
to?
tempted.
No, we
Huh?
didn't.
No.
But you
I
do.
go, I
you
go
really
for, I
do.
go for the linemen. I look for my guys. I
Yeah,
look for
yeah,
this
there you
guy. I look for everyone blocking. That's why I
Be
look.
another penalty the coach would be.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I'd be,
You'd be in trouble.
I'd be off the
Yeah.
field. But yeah, I look for the big guys. Those who I go
Yeah,
celebrate.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll have your work cut out for you this week. You know, against St. John's.
Yeah.
Nick, we talked a little bit before the show started about how well the line has been playing. You guys have been doing a great job. A lot of we've talked with some of the other linemen that have been on earlier prior to today's show, and you guys put a lot of work into that, don't you? You're working hard with your coaches.
Yeah,
and-
Coach Pinto, Coach Laramie do a great job. They help us out a lot.
Yeah. And now, how many years have you been playing the line?
3.
All 3 years?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a lot of, I know you guys don't get a lot of credit, you know.
Mhm.
We try to call out the numbers as often as we can, because we see the holes opening up. I mean, and we've been saying this for years, without the offensive line, the team doesn't go. You know, you guys are the ones that drive the whole machine, so, you may not realize that you know, that we're behind you guys and know the work that you're doing, but, we give you guys a lot of credit. When you guys are doing your practice drills and all that, you're off to the side working with Coach Pinto and all that.
Yep.
How much time do you work on individual one-on-ones, or do you work with blocking dummies? Because I remember we used to do that back in the day. You still do that? Pushing a sled.
Sometimes, yeah. We use a sled and all that. We have a chute too, and it makes us stay low. And then we put a bag at the one end of it, and we put like a bag in between us, and we have to keep our feet like away from the bag, and we block straight into that. And Coach Pinto runs that.
Yeah, and the other thing we talked about is the size of our team. You know, you don't have to be the biggest guys.
Mhm.
You truly don't, as long as you have, you know, the fortitude and the techniques. It really, I mean, that's what it all comes down to. I've seen that.
Yep.
And Ben, your position, you enjoying what you're doing?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. Whatever it takes, you know.
Yeah.
Special teams, offense, defense. Any playing time
Wherever,
you can get.
wherever you get put,
yeah.
you get out and
Love it.
make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is have you been playing all 4 years?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome, Coach. It means a lot when you have that kind of scene. You tend more to have, you know, a whole senior class of captains rather than just 4 guys. These guys become coaches on their own, right? They limits, you know, they help out with the younger players.
Well, it's nice too now, it's my 5th year, but it's my 2nd senior class that has been with us all 4 years.
Mhm.
So they understand everything.
Yeah,
So
right.
it does help tremendously. And this group happens to just be, they seem to be a little bit extra, they have a little bit extra passion for football. and they're really invested, so it makes it fun for us.
Nice.
Did you guys all start when?
I started in 6th grade.
6th grade?
Yeah.
I started in 7th.
7th?
First grade, I think.
First grade?
Yeah.
A little late.
Nice.
Yeah, a little late. Yeah, officially at first grade, probably the dinner table a little before then.
Yeah, I just couldn't wait to get out there. Why don't you talk a little bit about these guys,
Yeah,
Coach?
sure. I'll start with Nick. Nick, as he said, he's 3 years. He got in as a sophomore. He's kind of been our utility guy. He plays, plug him in on defense, plug him in on offense. He's not, for us, we try to play 2 guys at every position. And we don't do it everywhere, but most positions we have guys that come in and out during the game. So he reps in on offense, reps in on defense. He's doing that for 3 years. So he's been a really important part of our line on both sides. And a really hard worker in the weight room. I don't know if there's very few guys that have worked harder than this guy, getting stronger. So we're proud of him. And Phil, as he mentioned, sophomore year, the kicking game, he came on the scene there. In the last couple of years, he's contributed to the varsity. He's a really smart player, got good speed. He's one of those savvy athletes who just seems to have those instincts, whether it's baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah, right.
He's just a heady athlete, and he's done a lot of good things for us. And this year, Ben plays our wing back. He's had a couple of really big plays for us. He scored the game-winning touchdown. Well, not the one before the game-winning touchdown against Grafton. It was Grafton, right? Not
Yeah,
Shepherd
it's
Hill.
Grafton.
He almost scored 2 on the shovel pass right before right before Drew took it in. He plays corner and special teams, so he's contributing a ton to our team this year too.
You gotta be a good athlete to do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so he's contributing all 3 phases, and Phil, I didn't mention too, long snapper as well. So which there's actually a book, and I don't know if anybody's read it. Those guys don't get credit unless something's
No, they
wrong.
don't. That's right.
Yeah.
My son played center, so I know.
Right.
Nobody thinks twice in the
Nope.
ball being hyped
Nope.
time and time and time again.
No.
But when something goes wrong,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
who did it? Was it the quarterback or was it the center? It was the center.
Carl Lund, he's our center this year, first year starter, and in high school, not a lot of teams go from gun under center as often as we do, and we haven't had a
Right.
single snap.
Well, we limit the first play.
Right.
Bing.
It
That's right.
it ruins a drive.
Yeah,
It can ruin one.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you have 5 or 6 possessions, it's going to
Yeah,
make one really
definitely.
difficult. So.
definitely. Notice
So-
a little facial hair over on that side. Is that you, Ben?
I'm trying.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
is that something new, or is that?
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I like to look a little older.
I guess we're not like the New York Yankees.
Yeah, Can't be that way.
So you guys, good game against Leominster, and now we get the Red School this week. I'm not going to ask you what you guys know about them because I don't want. That's like telling them something. And I don't know who's out there watching. It's none of their business what we're doing. but I will say that you guys know about the rivalry. You know how much we want. We want this game. Year after year after year is every year it's a tough matchup. What are you guys gonna? I can't say what are you doing in practice or anything like that, but you just tell me a little bit about what you know about the rivalry because you guys have obviously been there the last couple of years, and they had our number last year twice, and we caught up to them the year before.
Yeah, I
In a
mean,
game that counted, yeah.
obviously it's growing up in Shrewsbury, like it's special. Like there's a lot of emotions around it, not just from the players and the teams, but it seems like basically the whole town. So obviously, like it's a special occasion. It almost feels like an honor to be able to go out there because so many people are watching and depending on you. But I think what it comes down to in the end is a football game. We want to win. We want to win every one.
Yeah.
It's not like this one is like, oh, we want to win this one.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one,
not
like,
that
oh,
one, yeah,
that
right.
one
No,
we
I
don't.
hear
So
you. I
we
hear
want to
you.
win every week. In that sense, we're gonna play as hard as we can, like we usually do.
Are there a
Really
lot of
guys do
guys on St. John's team that you guys played with growing up?
that. Yeah, there is definitely a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And even if we didn't play with them, we played against them
Yeah.
at some point. So
Yeah.
we're really familiar with a lot of the kids. A lot of even friends on the other team. As much as you don't want to say it, but a
Yeah,
lot.
right.
Yeah.
No,
Well, yeah, you guys played baseball with St. John's for Legion,
Yeah,
right?
Legion.
Made a great team together
Right.
the last few years,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it can get really personal too, like, because you know the guys.
Right.
So
Right.
you really, not just because you want to beat them, you want to show them that you're better than them. So that's,
No, that's well said. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
time.
That's true.
That's what the rivalry's all about. I remember when we played St. John's my senior year in high school, and we didn't wanna lose that game. We didn't, you know, my brother was on the plan for St. John's, and I didn't wanna ever listen to him.
Oh, really? I
for the
didn't
rest
know
of-
that.
Oh, yeah, my brother played for St. John's, I played for Shrewsbury High.
Wow, that's
So it
interesting.
was pretty funny, yeah. Oh, yeah, my mother sat in one end zone, my dad was in the other. They couldn't sit on either side. It was
Wow.
pretty funny.
That's interesting.
It's amazing the crowd that every game
Oh,
draws with them.
oh,
It's-
Huge.
The one that we played at home, that was a huge crowd
Last year.
last year. Yeah.
Was that the food trucks?
Yeah,
and
the
all
Pony
that?
Away.
Yeah, that was,
Pony
yeah,
Away.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
yeah, that was huge.
I feel like it gets
There was
bigger
another
every
year, I think,
Yeah.
a few years prior to that, I think John Andrioli's son played quarterback. And I think we played him at home, and they had to delay the start of the game because there were so many people trying to get up the hill to the game, so.
Yeah.
It is a special thing, it is, you know.
Well, we were talking too a little bit earlier about how well attended the student body has been from Shrewsbury High attending the football games, with the exception of the Groton game. But I'm sure that there's gonna be a tremendous turnout this week. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and it'll probably be more so because they don't have to travel very far.
Yeah.
Pretty much a home game.
Yeah, Coach
Yeah.
Costa says that football, sets the tone for the year. So going
Right.
out and playing well, people get
It does.
interested, they get excited. They come and we feed off them. So when they get
Yeah.
excited, we do, and really it's overall it's awesome.
And you'll get the Saturday afternoon time
Mm-hmm.
at 4 o'clock. Most of the teams are playing Friday night, so you're gonna get a lot of teams, a lot of
Right.
players
Right,
that are gonna
exactly.
come and watch.
It's too bad that
Watch you guys.
we can't broadcast from the Shrewsbury side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the power is over on the St. John's
They're
side.
yelling at us.
So we hear all
We're
of
trying to
it.
get excited.
Yeah.
Hey.
We catch it on the St. John's
Yeah,
side.
we do.
but
Bring your boxing gloves.
Yeah, we're on the roof though, aren't we?
We're on the roof, yeah. Yeah, they throw spitballs at us. Anyways, we've got like less than 2 minutes
Yeah.
left to go, so I just wanna ask you guys, I know you're all seniors, have you thought about where you're going next year, where you're going after you graduate from SHS?
I want to study sports management. I'm not sure what school yet, but I've been looking at Nichols. Actually, an early acceptance thing for Nichols. I got in there, and I'm gonna look at Merrimack and Assumption as well.
Nice.
Very good, Nichols is my alma mater, good school.
I'm not really sure exactly what I'm gonna study yet. I'm kind of, college is a big decision and stuff. But I have a lot of different schools that I like. I like UNH, UMass.
So big
a lot
schools.
I like the
want
big
big-
school idea. But really, other than that, I'm not really positive yet. I still got some time though.
Okay,
Very good.
pick the school that you wanna go to,
Yeah,
and the one that you
yeah.
like, so.
Right.
And Ben?
Similar to Phil, I like UNH a lot. It's probably my top school, but I want to be a civil engineer mostly.
Okay.
So engineering. I like URI a lot too. So we'll see where it goes.
Good,
Nice. Good
nice to be
schools.
close to home
Yeah.
too, so, very good.
Yep.
Well, Coach, you're
4-0.
4-0, going into the big game of the year, I mean, that we all love, and we wish you well, wish you best, and I'm not sure, I think we're running out of time, Billy.
30 seconds.
30
Does-
So,
St. John's, and following that, who we got, Neshoba?
Algonquin.
Algonquin.
let's worry about St. John's.
No, I mean, I know how many games before the playoffs start?
We're 5 of 8.
5,
5 of 8 regular
Okay.
season. Yeah.
Okay.
So four including.
so 3
Saturday.
after, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll see you next week when you're 5-0, and we'll worry about the game after that.
All right. Thank you guys.
Good luck, Coach,
Okay.
good luck,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
See you next time on Coach's Corner.